It's Monday, June 8th, 2020. Digital Trends Live is about to start. Here are some of the topics we're covering on today's episode of the show. Twitter has been adamant about battling misinformation on its platform, now announcing that conspiracy theories linking 5G technology to the coronavirus will be flagged. And we'll be joined by UX consultant Noah Kong, who has created an iOS extension that can automatically blur faces and remove metadata from photos. We'll talk to him about why that's important. Plus, in awesome tech you can't buy yet, Drew Prindle will join us to talk about some of the most interesting crowdfunding campaigns out there, including a portable Applewood pellet grill. And we're all looking for more human interaction when it comes to online gaming, but what about poker? We'll have Ben Shimon, the CEO and co-founder of PokerFace, on to discuss their interactive platform. All of that and more on today's episode of Digital Trends Live. Hello, everyone. This is Digital Trends Live. Thank you very much for joining us wherever you are. We do appreciate it. We broadcast live here every single weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, bringing you trending tech headlines, news, interviews, discussions, and so much more. And we're broadcasting live on a number of different platforms. So join us, join in the conversations, put in what you want to talk about, what you think about the topics that we're bringing up. But let's get started with some trending tech headline news. And certainly, social media's battle against misinformation is an ever-growing thing. And right now, Twitter has announced that they are going to be adding in additional warnings on tweets. So we know that they've already been doing this. They did some with the President of the United States tweets. They've been doing some with coronavirus in particular, as far as false information out there or misinformation. Now they're expanding that to include 5G conspiracy theories. This is something that has been going on for a while. I'm sure probably most of you watching this show are aware of the conspiracy theories that have been out there. People have been falsely linking 5G to the cause of coronavirus. Just to reiterate, there is no at all scientific backing for that conspiracy theory, but that doesn't really necessarily matter when these things trend like this. So this has been going on for a while. Now when it happens, if somebody does post something like that, you're going to get a label that says, get the facts about COVID-19, a link to actually some specific pages and curated information about 5G, how it's not causing it. Now this, if you weren't aware of how big of a deal this is, in the UK alone, this is where this conspiracy theory really took off earlier this year, as far as a couple of months ago, and more than 90 cell towers have been burned in the UK in protest against what they believe, these people believe, is causing the coronavirus. So that's how serious this is. No matter how outlandish something may seem, if you actually dig into the information, people will follow along with this. So yeah, 90 cell towers. It's started to actually come over here to the US. There's been people spreading this as well. So Twitter's trying to get ahead of it and post information about this. But you will see that if you see somebody posting something about 5G conspiracy theories with coronavirus, there's a good chance they're going to get a notification added onto that. So be on the lookout for that on Twitter. Continuing on with misinformation, let's talk about Facebook. They've been going a little bit of a different direction, with Mark Zuckerberg really proclaiming they want to go hands off for a lot of misinformation, at least when it comes to the political side of things. And now there's been a couple of different things. He did say on Friday at the kind of the last minute that he would be open to reconsidering some of their stances because of some of the backlash from their own employees. But there's also an open letter that was reported by the Washington Post of a group of 143 scientists, including more than 60 professors at top U.S. research institutions, that called on Facebook to do more to prevent misinformation and hatred from spreading on its platform. So the letter stated that Facebook helped facilitate the spread of misinformation, and that the spread of news that is not vetted for factual accuracy leads to confusion and a mistrust of experts. So this is what this group of scientists actually put out. This was kind of in response to a lot of different things, but in particular, the Facebook decision not to censor or put a note on the post from President Trump talking about when the looting starts, the shooting starts. That phrase in particular, let's just get it out there. That's what it was. So that is what got it flagged on Twitter. Facebook did not, and this is what they're saying. Things like that need to be flagged. So this is from that group of scientists. Now, there's also a study that came out from New York University's Stern Center for Business and Human Rights, talking about Facebook and also other social media companies, saying that they're outsourcing too much of their moderation to third-party companies and that they need to do more for them. We have a big interview actually with the people behind that study at digitaltrends.com. I encourage you to go take a look at that. It's an interesting look at how this is all going down and what some of the experts are saying should be done or could be done to help mitigate some of these issues. So again, read that at digitaltrends.com. Continuing on here with trending news right now. people are starting to get out of the house as we see some quarantine restrictions lift, and certainly nationally. You're seeing some use of Airbnb go up, and there's some stats that came out from this. This was actually from a Bloomberg report that showed that more people are booking local holidays since COVID-19 is going on. So instead of taking these big travels, internationally or going cross country, which naturally a lot of people would be doing, it's staying local, and they are seeing a lot of listings going up and a lot of bookings going up. So the listings, according to Airbnb CEO, the number of nights booked at U.S. listings between May 17th and June 3rd was greater than the same weeks from the previous year. So that means that people are staying local, but still getting out of the house. A lot of it has to do with going to vacation homes. The trend is that instead of going to hotels, since vacation homes you can maintain social distancing, and versus a hotel where obviously that's going to be a bit more of an issue. But it's a part of a whole trend, and we're studying this here, just trying to analyze where all this is going to go. But it's definitely interesting seeing how that's shaking out. So again, that's Airbnb, more people traveling locally. Continuing on here, getting you your trending news to start the show off before we get into our interviews for the day. Another patent has been revealed from Apple. Now, this does have to do with the same trend that we're talking about with social distancing, and it's a patent that Apple has out for what would be called synthetic group selfies. Essentially, it's a group selfie without being in a group. And the way this technology could work is that, at least according to this patent, is that you would have one person take a picture, and then other people could get an invite to join into it, and then through the magic of editing, it would make it look like everybody was together. And so you could certainly see something like this taking off a little bit more if this does roll out. Now, patents, sometimes these things don't come out, but this seems like something that would probably come out here at some point. So this is, again, it'd be like a group selfie. They said that according to the patent, you could use selfie images, or the images could be photos, video images, or live streaming images. So maybe even have somebody live streamed in to your location where you would look like you're all together on a vacation or something, get a vacation photo like that. But that's something that Apple has put out. We've got more details about that at digitaltrends.com. You can take a look there about the idea of a group selfie with nobody there physically in the group. Continuing on with trending news, we are seeing some sports leagues start back up, albeit certainly a lot different than they did before. We know the NBA is going to be doing it here at some point, but over in Europe, they're already starting back up. So Bundesliga already started back up. I believe the Spanish league did too, La Liga. But the English Premier League is getting ready to restart. I believe it's on June 17th is when they're coming back. But it's coming up anyway in the next couple of weeks. But certainly it's going to be without fans. And now Sky Sports, who is the broadcaster of a lot of those games, is turning to EA for FIFA to get the sounds of crowds into the game. So those crowd sounds that you hear when you're playing FIFA, if you ever played FIFA, they've got all the crowd chanting and all that stuff, and they got everything going on for each stadium. Those are recordings, a lot of them of actual fans from the stadiums. Well, now Sky Sports is asking for EA to provide some of those so that they can put them in the background of the actual soccer matches, since it's going to be an empty stadium. It's an interesting use case, and that's something that a lot of people have been talking about when it comes to live sports. The fan interaction, seeing the fans and just hearing the fans is part of what it is to watch a live sports game, match, whatever the case may be. So this is something that they're going to be doing to try to bring back some of that element, actually have that part of it. There's other leagues that are looking to have people call in via speaker or like chime in via speaker. They'd set up speakers in the stadium so actual fans at home could yell and scream, and the players would hear it and be on the broadcast. There was a Danish league that tried out Zoom, where they set up a bunch of screens, televisions around the stadium, and then let fans zoom in and then, I guess, yell and scream so you could hear them. You could also see them along the sidelines. It was kind of a weird look, but it's another way that people are trying to figure out how to make this all happen with some sense of, I guess, normalcy when it comes to sports. But that's what they're going to be doing with the Premier League. So pretty interesting there. And continuing on with trending news, the final thing, going back to space again, Elon Musk, always in the trending news with particularly with SpaceX. And it is an announcement that he made that's getting a lot of attention. And despite all the success with the Crew Dragon capsule, which those astronauts are up at the space station, that's certainly a focus. But he did say, other than making sure that the Crew Dragon capsule returns safely and that those missions continue on as they are, he wants SpaceX's focus to be entirely on Starship. Now, Starship is the big spaceship that they want to use to send people not only to orbit the Earth, but go to the moon and then on to Mars. This would be the vehicle to do that, along with the Falcon Heavy rocket. And he's saying he wants this to be the focus. They had some really tight timelines on what they wanted to do. Originally, the goal was to send an unmanned Starship to the moon next year to land and then come back as a test run. They've had some setbacks, so that may not happen, but nonetheless, he's asking everybody to double down on the Starship to make sure that they can get that stuff going. They still want to get people to the moon. They want to get people to Mars. In 2023, the plan was to have the first private passenger fly around the moon, and that's what the Japanese billionaire who was looking for a lady passenger to join him. There was a contest that was going to go on with that, but that's a whole other story you can look up. But yeah, he is still planning to go there in 2023, where he's going to go around the moon. But again, as we see more and more of this happen, certainly Elon Musk doubling down on the efforts for the Starship. You can read more about that at digitaltrends.com.
Hey, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It's now time for the product of the day.
All right, the product of the day today is Beats by Dr. Dre. Yes, the Power Beats themselves. These are the wireless earbuds that are designed for you to work out with, and that's one of the big things for this. So they have up to 12 hours of battery life, so you can do your workout. You don't have to worry about plugging them back in case you forget when you get done. They're still going to be good for the next day. It's got, even if you do forget, one interesting thing with this, it's got something called fast fuel, so a 5-minute charge gives you an hour of playback. So say you get ready to work out and you're like, I forgot to plug it in. Well, 5 minutes, you can get an hour out of it. It's got sweat and water resistant, so it can handle all of that stuff when you're working out. It's flexible. It's got secure fit ear hooks. It's got that loop on the back, so if it does fall out, it's going to stay right there. And certainly when you're working out, that's an important thing to have on there as well. But again, those are the Beats by Dr. Dre, the Power Beats 3 wireless. And right now they are on sale. Let me tell you. Oh, they're on. Ooh, that's a good deal. So normally $199.99. Right now they're on sale for $90. So that's over 50% off. And that's a good deal for something like that. So in order to take advantage of that, follow that link that's right below me, or click through there, or if there's a link on whatever platform you're watching me on, there's a link there. Follow through with that. Check out some of the details. Good deal on those Power Beats. That's our product of the day. All right, continuing on here with Digital Trends Live, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk to somebody who's come up with a pretty unique solution to a problem that a lot of people are figuring out that they have. As we see protests everywhere, one of the concerns has been photos there and people having their photo taken, and then if that could be used for other things, metadata with those photos also. So we've got Noah Conk, who's a UX consultant who designed an iOS extension that can take care of all of that, blurring faces, all kinds of things. We're going to talk about the epicenter of this, why he wanted to do this, and what some of the important factors are and how it all works. So that's coming up next, so stick around. Back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler again. Thank you very much for joining us wherever you are. We appreciate it. We broadcast live here every weekday, so hit that subscribe button, join the show, join the conversations that we get to have as we talk about technology that's affecting our lives. And certainly right now, there's a lot of interesting things going on. I mean, obviously with protests everywhere in association with Black Lives Matter and everything that's happening with that, tech has been playing a pretty major role. And one of the concerns that people have are photos that are being taken and those faces in those photos of random people being used possibly against them. And we're going to talk about that a lot more because we're going to talk to somebody right now who designed a way to help mitigate some of those concerns when you do upload a photo, and that is Noah Conk, who's an associate UX design director and consultant. And Noah, I want to say thank you very much for joining us here. I'm glad you get to have some time to talk to us about this. To go kind of just to the beginning, to give everybody a little bit of context, why is it important for people to have their faces blurred in these photos. What are some of the concerns with this?
So a lot of the concerns that have been happening are that a lot of protesters have been getting doxxed and been charged for certain crimes that the police are trying to hit them with, like assault charges and so on. So the biggest goal is to make sure that people are private and protesting safely. Like the numbers are fantastic at these protests, and it's great to see like tens of thousands of people at some of these cities protests. But a lot of people are posting photos and they're actually putting a lot of people in danger in case anything happens or if there's any issues with the police or anything. So privacy is definitely a must.
And privacy certainly being a concern for so many things. And yeah, definitely that makes sense at this. If somebody's photos up, getting doxxed, who knows what people could do with that. So protecting that as people are wanting to take pictures of the photos, I can see why that's so important. So looking at it from that angle, it's like, okay, that's happening. You want to protect that. There's also some of the issue with metadata as well. Can you tell us about the concern with that?
So when you post up a photo, it shows your location via GPS, has map, it shows what camera you shot it with, what time. And this metadata is actually very important in case your friend does get arrested by the police, similar to like what happened to my friend out in Seattle. We had a video of like where he was protesting the last place he was at because that helps with talking to NLG, like any pro bono lawyers, because they need that information. But it's also when you post things up, you want to hide that because when people download and save certain files on Facebook, it's got all that information within the photo. So we need to make sure that we're clearing all like the faces as well as the metadata within the photo.
So you saw this issue, like you said, it happened to your friend. You wanted to create something that would help solve some of this, and from what I understand, you teamed up with another designer or developer to create something to solve that. And tell us about what your extension is and how it actually works, what it does.
So we wanted to create something to help these protesters out because the process of like blurring photos, creating the metadata or deleting all the metadata is very convoluted. So we wanted to create something. The app would have been too late with all the protests that have been happening. Some of these protests have gotten really intense and we wanted to get this out as fast as possible. So the developer came up with an idea to daisy chain a bunch of commands within iOS shortcuts. So this is making calls, throwing the photo up into face detection, and then it finds all the faces. It minimizes all the faces down to like 64% or 64 pixels, which you can adjust within that shortcut. And then it blows it up, making it virtually like almost impossible for people to uh, use algorithms to unblur the faces. And as it creates the blur, it creates a copy and then it has a blank JPEG, which clears all the metadata. So then when you upload it, it allows people the affordance to have a private photo that they could share on social media.
Which is it's pretty cool that you were able to get this done so quickly. To be honest, I mean that's a lot to solve in one quick swoop. And I know you put this out there too, and the response has been pretty big. A lot of people have been responding to that. What was it like for you when you first put this out there and then seeing the response from all these people?
I mean, it's been really overwhelming. It wasn't really meant to like go out to the masses. It was supposed to be for all my close friends who are out there, who are protesting out in Seattle, New York, and so on. So it surprisingly got a lot of attention from people like Jack Dorsey, who retweeted it, and from there it's still like trending on like Instagram and stuff. But I think I'm overwhelmed by how many people are interested in this, and I think what's even more powerful is I'm getting a lot of people who are reaching out about like the idea of shortcuts because it's very not as talked about, and the power of the shortcuts. This is essentially making 50 different actions and calls that are a daisy chain that allows you to get a blurred photo and deletes all the metadata. So just really overwhelmed with the reaction from everyone that's been reaching out and getting a lot of support from people.
Let's talk about how people can get it first, because I want to make sure they know that. Like, where do they go to get to utilize your shortcut?
So right now, it's in getshortcuts.com, but you can also go into my Instagram profile, which is at Noah Conk, and it's in my bio. It's a Google Doc that tells you how to uh, download it. It's technically an untrusted shortcut, so you have to toggle that on to trust untrusted shortcuts. But basically, what untrusted shortcuts are, it's just any shortcut that isn't created by Apple. So it's got all the information that you need to download that and run it.
And we've got a link too for people to go through and follow through with that. Now, something else that's I wanted to bring up with this too is that you also are encouraging donations to an organization in particular, and I want to make sure we call attention to that and which one, if you can tell us which one this is and why it's important to you.
It's People's Breakfast of Oakland, and this is very important. I thought long and hard about which foundation I wanted to give to, and this one is specifically for Black protesters who need bail funds. And in America, we do need to look at bail fund reform, but we can not like save those politics aside. But basically, I wanted to focus on a Black organization, and this one seemed to be like the perfect one. The information is within the shortcut as well that you can Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal.
Nice. Yeah, so great crowds there. People's Breakfast Oakland. That's what this is for. So looking at it now, you've got this out there. This all of a sudden the success. Jack Dorsey's retweeting you. What's next for you? Do you have plans on expanding this or anything in the horizon?
This was just a catalyst of bigger ideas. I want designers and developers to realize that like we can do more than just share like a black square on social media. We have the power to really use technology to do stuff that's genuinely good for the masses. And like right now I'm working on other projects that are really focusing on BIPOC communities and talking about like how that fits within like corporate companies as well as agencies. So I think there's a few projects in the horizon that you might read about or see in the future, but right now I'm focusing in on like working with other people to build this possibly for Android as well in the future.
Nice. Well, Noah, thank you for coming on to talk to us. Congratulations on creating this. Obviously, it started, to help your friend, but it seems like a lot of other people want to use this as well. And so you're helping a lot of people with that, and certainly with the charity as well, People's Breakfast Oakland. Go check out Noah's app, and I'm excited to see what else you come up with going from here. I'm an Android user. When you get the Android one, I'll totally be using that. But Noah, thank you very much for being here on Digital Trends Live.
Thank you for having me.
All right, very interesting seeing some of the innovation that comes out of what's going on with this. People finding tech solutions to problems that they have. All right, continuing on here with Digital Trends Live. Up next, we've got Drew Prindle for Awesome Tech You Can't Buy Yet, taking a look at some of the most interesting crowdfunding campaigns that are available online. That's coming up next. Stick around. Back in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. #1 hit of 2020. All right, welcome back to Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you so much for being here with us. It is now time for Awesome Tech You Can't Buy Yet, where we are joined by the one and only Drew Priddle to talk about some of the most interesting crowdfunding campaigns that are out there. And Drew, always good to see you. Let's start this off. There is one, I'm not sure which one you wanted to go with here first. Maybe you can tell us. What do you want to talk about first?
All right, let's talk about this pellet grill. I feel like as we're getting into summer season, barbecue season, this is like probably the most appropriate place to start. So
okay,
it's a portable pellet grill, which I don't think I've ever seen before. For those of you who aren't particularly familiar with like grilling technologies and barbecuing and all of that stuff, you usually the options are, you've got gas on one side, like propane, and then you've got charcoal, and then on the far end you've got like wood fire, which is kind of laborious and very, it just takes a lot of effort because you have to make sure that the flame is at the right level and be putting in, wood, and that's for like true enthusiasts. But somewhere in between that wood fire and like charcoal is pellet grills, which use little pellets of wood to burn and like kind of smoke things up and everything, instead of forcing you to chop wood and burn that. So it simplifies it a little bit, but you get all the benefits of using like real wood, which is the main thing, is like that smoky flavor. So this is a pellet grill, which, I mean, typically they're pretty big things and they're stationary, but this one has been kind of shrunken down into a small little portable form factor, which means that you can take it camping with you, which I think is absolutely amazing.
That is pretty awesome. So it gets up to 500 degrees, 8-in-1 versatility, pure applewood flavor. But yeah, portable. And what's the name of this one? Can you tell me the name?
A smoke, or a smoke. I'm not really sure how they pronounce it.
Okay. So it is $150 right now, and yeah, I think there's a ton of people that are going to want to get this because, well, obviously they had a $10,000 goal. They are now funded to $369,000. So it looks like a few people did want this with 26 days left. So
they're doing pretty
that
well.
one's getting funded. So
Yeah,
definitely
for sure.
check that out. Again, awesome tech you can't buy yet. That's pretty cool. Portable grill. I know a bunch of people are going to end up getting that. Continuing on here, what's the next one you want to bring up?
All right, let's talk about this air filter thing, because this one's just weird. But it's one of those ideas that you're like, damn, that's super clever. Why has nobody thought of this before? Hold on, what's the name of it?
Let's see. I've got
the
it up
air
here. So
threads.
it's air threads. Yeah, first machine washable home air filter. Okay,
Yeah, so those portable, or not portable, those air filter like sheets or whatever that you put in your air filtration system at home that typically, I don't know about you, but I kind of forget that they exist, and then you only like you see them when you like open your HVAC system and you're like, oh my god, it's just caked with dust and dirt, and you're like, I should probably replace that because it's probably a hazard to my health right now. And then you got to go buy them, and that's the thing. You just throw out the old one, buy a new one, and the cycle repeats until you die. But this is a new system. This is a reusable one, and basically what it is, it's a cloth filter that has all the same filtering properties as those kind of packed, like woven fiber, whatever filters that we used before, except it's got a frame inside of it, and it kind of zips over that. And you stick it in there, it fits in the same slots, the same dimensions and all of that. But then when it's too dirty, instead of throwing it away, you just pull it out, take off the cloth cover, and throw it in the washing machine, and that completely rejuvenates it, and then you can just slip it back on the frame, stick it back in, and you reuse it over and over and over again. So buy this once, you won't have to keep buying air filters. Not that, I mean, I definitely wasn't buying them anyway, but this just seems like a better solution.
I feel like I'm partially shamed right now because I'm like, oh, I need to clean that. Number one.
It's just one of those things that's like easy to forget about, and it's kind of a pain to go and get a new one, right? Like you're just like, it's not my problem. And like really, it does impact your health. It leaves more allergens in the air, so if you have allergies, you're probably feeling it more if you're kind of lazy about replacing your air filter, HVAC filter. So yeah, this is a good thing if you have some serious allergies going on.
That is pretty cool. So air threads, machine washable home air filter. Check that out for awesome tech you can't buy yet. And then we have the final one here, which has to do with some hair care, I believe, is what we're going for with this. Can you tell us about this one?
Yeah, it's called the Air, AER, and it's not the first cordless hairdryer I've ever seen, but it's definitely one of the best ones I've seen thus far. So cordless hairdryers it doesn't really sound like a super impressive thing. At first you're like, yeah, everything's going like cordless and wireless right now. But the reason that cordless hairdryers weren't a thing up until very recently is because it's just really, really hard to pull off. Like to get a heating element up to the proper heat level while also blowing air over it and kind of removing heat from it and forcing it out at you, it takes so much energy. Anybody who's been in the house with somebody using a hairdryer or using one yourself, sometimes the lights flicker and stuff, and that's because it's drawing so much power from your wall. So to do that with just a battery is really, really difficult. And it wasn't until very recently that we actually had the technology to pull that off. This company has been working on this for 8 years, and they are only now ready to release it. So cool things about it, it first of all has a lithium silicon battery, which is
she seems very confident after using that.
It's got, hold on, I might have listed the wrong technology, but whatever. It's got a new battery that's not lithium ion. It's something better. It's a little bit more power dense. Yeah, lithium silicon. That gives it about 4 hours of runtime, and it can put out the amount of power that it needs to get super hot and everything and actually dry your hair. Some of these cordless ones that have come out in the past, they're just not hot enough to actually dry your hair. This one apparently is different. It can get the same temperatures as a typical wall plug hairdryer. And in addition to that new battery technology, it also has like AI built in, so it has a bunch of sensors in the front of it, so it can sense heat and moisture and pretty much learn how quickly your hair is drying, and then adjust itself internally so it uses like less battery while also still drying your hair. So yeah, it's a really slick design for this whole thing. And if you dry your hair and you don't want to be like confined to the bathroom while you do it, and you want to move around and do other things, this is definitely worth checking out.
Dry your hair on the go. And it's also got, I noticed, so you mentioned the AI, it's also got an app that goes with it too. I don't know what the statistics are that you get from that, but still that's, it's got an app. But yeah, so that's
a little unnecessary. I feel like there are so many products that do that. They're just like, yeah, we made an app as well so you can track your stats and share it to social media.
Right, I don't know what your stats are.
I don't know why you would ever want to do that with a hairdryer, but hey, whatever floats your boat, man.
I mean, however it works, you got to be real specific about it. Well, it was a $30,000 goal. $209,000 have been pledged. It's got 38 days left, so a lot of people want this. And so that is the Air cordless hairdryer. So you can read more about that too at digitaltrends.com. We've got our awesome
Greg,
can't buy yet section there. Go ahead, Drew.
I just got an idea. I think maybe we found a good way to. I thought of a good way to use that app. I think we need to get you one of these hairdryers. And then as the loading screen for DT Live, it's you blow drying your hair, and we get live stats on like the Greg hair cam. And so the viewers can know exactly what effort goes into those beautiful flowing locks of yours every day before the show starts.
Thank you, Drew. Yeah, I think that is something that people have been demanding, so I think it's about time that we did. I mean, there's a lot of hairspray holding this down, but maybe I just need to blow it all out. And then, yeah, this is great. So Air, please get a hold of us. And that's going to be clearly the new intro for Digital Trends Live. Drew, always good to talk to you. Awesome tech you can't buy yet. Check it out at Digital Trends, and I'll talk to you soon.
Later, man.
Later. All right. Clearly that needs to happen because if I unleash this, it'd be something. All right. Let's just continue on. We're going to go to break. We're going to come back. We've got more to talk about here. So a lot of people, clearly playing games at home and online. You want to interact with friends. That's been a bit of a hard thing to do lately. Well, what about poker? We're going to talk to the creator of Poker Face coming up next. So stick around. We'll be right back with more Digital Trends Live. Hello, this is Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler again. Thank you for joining us wherever you are. I know I say that a lot, but we appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, join the show, and talk about the things that we get to talk about, join the conversations that we get to have here. And coming up now, we're going to be talking about something that a lot of people are doing, and that is playing games online, but in particular poker. It's always been popular, but now there's a new way to interact with each other, and that is what we're going to be talking about right now. We've got joining us Or Ben Shimon to talk about Poker Face. He is the CEO and co-founder. Or, thank you for being here. Let's talk about the origin of this app. I'm always interested to see what inspired somebody to create something like this. What was your story?
First of all, thank you for having me on the show. So it started from my partner and I. We are friends for the 15 years now, and we left our hometown city, and we always played with our friends. Poker night, Saturday night. We started to miss this thing, and we didn't play with our friends for a long time. So we come up with the idea, so how we can play with them, see them, and enjoy for being with them. So this is how Poker Faces come.
And so, for everybody who hasn't tried it out there yet, how exactly does it work? How are you able to interact with people and friends at the same time as you're playing online poker?
Yeah, so the idea is super simple. You log into the app, you just invite your friends to a private table or worldwide table. The app is separate for two ways to get the best experience. One is to play with your friends, family, and the second one is to meet new poker friends. We don't have a lot of time to meet new friends during the life. We are super busy on the job and everything. So the app allow you to find new poker meet. And this is basically how you can find yourself, meet new guys, meet new women, play one with each other, see them, read their reactions, have fun together. It's basically super easy to use and super fun.
I want to get into the specifics of the actual play. I've got some questions on that, but before we go into that side, just looking at you're launching this app, and it started off because you wanted to play with your friend, but now it's just blown up. I mean, there's so many people getting it. What was that like, experiencing that, where you go to check your downloads and all of a sudden you're seeing not just a few people friends, but it's like thousands of people downloading it? How did that feel?
It feels great, because we understand that our small idea that come from the garage, it's now actually going live, and everyone. We saw that a lot of people have been in the same situation like us. We started to understand that we bring a lot of value during this, last period of COVID. We saw a lot of people that have been in the same situation for before the COVID and now, and you can understand how much people was need that, because they miss them. They miss to play with a friend. So it's amazing feeling that you can bring all of the users, around the world, that you can help them to connect one with each other, and during their favorite game, poker. It's always been the favorite game for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I love that idea, that not only connecting, because you're right, during this pandemic, it's something people have missed so much. So it's great timing for that, to be able to play with each other. And then on top of that, meeting new people as well, because so many people are at home.
Yeah.
If they're alone, they're, no social interaction. That's a great way to do that. Well, going from there, you see all this downloads, and I saw that, just taking a look here, in 2 months, you went from 40,000 to 500,000 users, top 5 gaming app in the U.S., #1 in several countries across the world. That's huge. I mean, that's tremendous. So you have all this growth and success. Like, what does this mean for going forward? Does this mean that it's because of the group interaction that you think this would apply maybe to other kinds of games, or what have the trends been that you've seen with this?
Yeah, for our company, for our side is to bring people together. This is the meaning of the company. Communix is all about to bring them together. If now it's the poker, we start to think about new product, and for the future, how we can help more people to be one with each other. If during playing poker or during other games, we build our social algorithm that can help people to find them easily, and to invite more people to the tables, and to make everything super quick. I think the industry trying to go to this area as well. the communication in game, it started to be huge. From audio side, you can see this kind of thing on PUBG and Fortnite, that you can speak with your friend during you play. But video, it's something else. Video give me the most realistic way to meet them, right? It's like you going to play, before you play against avatars. It's basically your friends behind that, but you just see their photo from Facebook or something, or you see an avatar that they purchase, an in-app purchase thing. But now it's the real thing. You can actually see them like we're doing now.
Right, and that's that. I mean, because you're right, I've played poker with other people too, and yeah, seeing the avatar and that, it's just not very personal, very much by yourself. So that's awesome. You can see somebody's face, especially when you beat them. It's always good to see their face when you win.
Yeah.
But looking at it, from there too, and where this is going, and seeing the trend here with the pandemic and where your company is going, I did want to talk about the actual gameplay. Because we've got some big fans here on the staff here at Digital Trends who've been playing this. And one of the questions that came up here is talking about how the actual app works. Is the formula for dealing cards completely random, or is it an algorithm that you have programmed?
Okay, so two things that's super important, and I think we are the only one that's doing that. First of all, it's completely random cards, completely. Second thing, we don't have any bots in the system. 99% of the game that you play, you have bots that you play against them. Most of them in the first experience of user. Because everything is super realistic, and we want the user will feel super comfortable. So we are super authentic on this area. The cards are random. We don't have any bots. You always play with real players, always. Whatever what. If you're a new user, play after 1 year, it will stay the same, and we'll keep saying the same thing always. We'll keep it random all the time. We know that a lot of games not doing that, but we want to be the ones that always maintain that.
So it's got a more true sense of the actual game itself.
Yeah. For us, it's just to make the user fun, to make them feel okay with their friend. They want to engage with them. They want to meet new friends, right? So for us, if the cards are random or not random, for us, it's not help us. Just if it's help them that it's random, and this is what it needs to be. So we're just there for them, exactly what they need.
Are there other games on the horizon, or other things that you can talk about that you want to incorporate this into, so for more interactive mobile gaming?
Yeah, so we think that in the future we have more games on this kind of space.
Is Blackjack coming?
No, I can't share now what we're working on, but
I know.
I promise you're going to be one from the first 5 that I will talk with. Don't worry.
Awesome. Well, Poker Face, available right now. People can download it. It's such a huge success with it, and it's fun because people want to be interactive and they want to have that. And you've created something that certainly has struck home for a lot of people. And I want to say thank you very much for joining us here too. And I know you can't reveal anything in the future, but for people who want to follow along with what you're creating, where should I send them?
They can follow us on Facebook, Poker Face Game. We have everything updated there. They can follow us, the company, Communix. We will updating everything there. And they can download the app from the App Store and Android.
Yeah, and start playing right now. Well, Or, thank you very much for being here on Digital Trends Live. Appreciate you joining us to talk about this. And let us know when the next one comes out.
Thank you very much. I will let you know. Bye.
All right. Thanks. Orben Shimon right here on Digital Trends Live, talking about Poker Face, interactive poker online. Mobile gaming certainly being huge, but being able to actually talk to somebody, that's a lot of fun. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is Digital Trends Live. We appreciate everybody who is here with us every single day. As always, we've got a lot coming up on the show. Every day we've got more people who are going to be joining and more interviews. We've got all the latest news for you that you can tune into as well, because we like to keep you up to date with all of that. And the best way to do that is to hit subscribe, whatever platform you're on. So share the show. Let other people know about it. That's always a good way. Tomorrow on the show, I will say this, we've got Will Power, who's going to be joining us. He's an artist, a YouTuber. He's going to be talking about what he does and how he got started in that. Always interesting and inspiring hearing some of those stories. That's going to be just one part of tomorrow's show. There's going to be a lot more, so you don't want to miss out. And I'm Greg Nibbler. I will see you right back here tomorrow with another edition of Digital Trends Live.